I know you work a lot with Clemson and Dabo Swinney, and they have an exercise. Is that where you learn it? You gave it to them? Tell us the story.
I gave it to them, and Dabo took it and used it and called it the safe seat. So he would have each player sit in this safe seat, in this chair, where it was a safe place to be vulnerable and share your feelings and share your heart. And guys were just brought to tears. I mean, this was the year they won the national championship. These big, strong, tough guys, amazing guys, just brought to tears as they shared their stories. And we found out what they've been through, some of the challenges they've had in their lives. And so Dabo used that, called it the safe seat. But I got the idea from Corey Close. She's the head women's basketball coach at UCLA. And Corey told me about this idea of the hero hardship on highlight. But you can add one more H to that, and it's, what do you hope for? And I think right now, with what everyone's going through, that's a great thing to talk about. What do you hope for as you look forward towards the future? So we can call it the 4 H's. But it's been fun to watch you and others take it and use it. Again, I don't own it. Let's all use it. Let's all share it. Let's all get better because of it. And we know it helps the culture, and it creates emotional and psychological safety. And you know that's essential, because once you have psychological safety, then you have trust. Then you have greater commitment, and then unleashes the genius in the team. Project Aristotle, we know with Google, they did the study called Project Aristotle. They wanted to know where their best ideas came from, where their most inventive ideas, where their best teams came from. They studied teams within Google and teams outside of Google, thousands of teams. And they found that their best ideas and their best teams did not come from the A teams. It wasn't the ones with the most domain-specific knowledge, the geniuses in the field, the rock stars. It actually came from the B teams. And these B teams had psychological, emotional safety. They felt free to share ideas back and forth. They felt connected and committed. And as a result of that, they weren't worried about being ridiculed. And so that unleashed the genius in the team. It wasn't the one genius, it was the genius in the team where everything came out of. And we've seen that in sports. We know how a great team is not always the one with the best players. It's the one who actually plays the best together. We know in the military, those who are committed to each other and truly connected to each other, and they have that bond of trust, that's who will fight for each other to the death. And those are the ones we admire. Those are the ones we see really do incredible things. The movie called The Outpost. And I just saw that movie, and my good friend Daniel Rodriguez played in the movie, but also was in the battle. And these guys fought for each other. When you watch that movie and you know it was real life, they fought for each other. And that is just so powerful when you have that. So it really does come from doing things like that. And you have to be intentional, because if you're not intentional, it doesn't happen. More now than ever, it doesn't happen, because people are not wired to connect anymore. So we've got to actually force it. We got to make sure that we're finding ways to connect. And you said earlier, having those hard conversations. Yes, that's the key right there. I mean, we have to have difficult conversations if we want to be a great team. Good friend of mine, Nick Nurse, Toronto Raptors head coach, won the NBA championship. He put an elephant on his desk in the beginning of the year. Anytime one of the players came in, they saw the elephant on the desk. They knew they were going to talk about the elephant in the room. No bitterness, no hidden issues, no agenda. We're going to talk about the things that are holding us back so we can come together, heal, grow, and be our best. And sure enough, they won an NBA championship. They would have not have done that if they did not deal with this stuff. I know behind the scenes, can't talk about it, but if they didn't talk about these things and work them out, they wouldn't have been a strong team. So as a team, you have to have difficult conversations. And you said it best. I really have a great understanding, because I get to work at the levels of leadership. I work at the cultural level. I work at the leadership level, but I also work at the team building level. But then I also work in the individual level, understanding the mindset and the mental makeup that makes us tough and makes us gritty. And I know all that research. So I'm able to work at all the different levels to see how they all fit together and what we need to do at each level to help build a great team.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, I appreciate you bringing up the Raptors there, because that Game 7 loss for us at the Sixers is still sticking with me, and it will forever. But, like you said, they built an amazing team. And when you build that amazing team and culture, amazing thing happen. You also mentioned that Hero Hardship Highlight Hope exercise, which I think I actually sent you the email of an article when the team that I used to play for back in Australia, the Richmond Tigers. So when I was there, they were a basket case. They hadn't won for 30 odd years. I didn't change anything while I was playing there, but they managed to turn it around and break a 36-year drought and win the championship. And this is in large part been credited to the culture that they've developed. And there was an article that came out about a process, a facilitated process where they did, in quote unquote, force that environment, but it was through using those instances of asking guys questions, getting in front of the group. And when I saw it and it kind of came full circle, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's happened back from where I'm from. And that comes from a guy who I would now call a colleague and a friend who started this all off back in halfway around the world. So
isn't that cool?
It is really cool. And that's,
when you sent me that, and then I heard from the reporter who wrote the article, and then I was on a radio station in that area. It was so cool because they had used it and they said it really turned around their team because they got vulnerable. And these incredible athletes, these big, strong guys, as you know, were sharing their stories, sharing their past, sharing their hardships. And they said from there was a bond that was developed like they've never experienced before. It was so cool to hear that from this team. And after 36 years, I believe it was 36 years out, they won the championship. It's like the Cleveland Browns winning a championship now, right? If they were like that kind of team and they came together and won. So it was so cool. They read that and You Win in the Locker Room First, the book I wrote with Mike Smith, the former coach of the Atlanta Falcons, where we shared a lot of these tips and ideas to win in the locker room and build a great team. So yeah, that was really cool to see.